Musicians Talk Show is brought to you by Bandzoogle. Bandzoogle makes it easy to build a stunning website for your music in minutes. Choose from hundreds of mobile-friendly themes, then customize your design and content in a few clicks with Bandzoogle's easy visual editor. All the features you need for a professional website are already built in, including tools to sell your music and merch commission-free right on your website, mailing list tools to grow your fan list and send newsletters, integrations to pull in content from all your online services like Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud, and live support from their musician-friendly team 7 days a week. Bandzoogle plans start at just $8.29 a month and include your own free custom domain name. So go to bandzoogle.com to try it free for 30 days, and be sure to use the promo code TMTS to get 15% off your first year of your subscription. Okay, before we get started, Matt and I have lots of great ideas to improve the podcast, but we can't do it without you. So if you want to help us grow, click support the show at musicianstalkshow.com and consider signing up for our Patreon. We have tons of great perks and rewards for you, such as early guest reveals, a weekly live Q&A, and access to a monthly exclusive episode only for our patrons.
Sign up for our mailing list on our website to gain access to our private community on Discord. There you can communicate with Dallas and I directly about all things TMTS. You can also follow at Musicians Talk Show on Instagram to discover new episodes, vote in polls, and join the conversation.
Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on, and he'd say, "Boss, we got this and that and the other thing." And I'd look at him and I'd say, "Good." And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem, and he said, "I already know what you're going to say." And I said, "Well, what am I going to say?" He said, "You're going to say good." He said, "That's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say good." And I said, "Well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution." That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, now you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
That's right. Matt, let's go out on the attack.
Yeah, get pumped.
Welcome to the Musicians Talk Show, episode 48. I'm one of your two hosts, Dallas DeWhite.
And I'm Matt Tolley.
And that was Jocko Willink, retired Navy SEAL. You probably know him. That's his video simply entitled Good, which I recommend everybody check out. And that's why we put it at the beginning of the show, because that's a really powerful message that I wanted to talk a little bit about.
Extremely motivating, extremely inspiring, and makes you want to work hard, get back after it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think the message is good too. Like, good as in that solves all your problems, right?
Positivity.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's kind of the,
you can't let
if
those
you have a positive mindset, negativity is, it's hard for it to bring you down. It's a lot of, you know, definitely, I mean, worth a check out if you guys have never heard that. I mean,
if you guys have never heard of Jocko at all, you need to check him out. His own podcast, Jocko Podcast.
Definitely. And he's been on several. Joe Rogan's podcasts is where I found him, and he was an awesome interview there. So
yeah, his first podcast ever is the first one I heard. That was Tim Ferriss' show. And then he did Rogan right after that. And that's basically gave him
when he got started his, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Jocko's awesome. A real intense guy.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, as serious as a message that is, the comments below are really funny.
Yeah, and we're going to read a bunch of them. So, Matt, you go first.
Lost all my money on online poker. Good. Now I can't lose any more money.
Erectile dysfunction spelled wrong. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Good. More time to cuddle.
This year, my wife left me. Good. Now I have the opportunity to meet the person I'm supposed to be with, and it taught me to appreciate.
That's kind of sad because that's legit.
Yeah, that's a real one right there.
Okay, 82 people dislike this video. Good. More opportunity for the rest of us.
Forgot to buy condoms. Good. I always wanted kids.
Is your refrigerator running? Good. Get after it.
Anybody know the song in the background? If not, good. I'll try to find it on my own.
Going bald? Good. I'll save money on haircuts.
Main parachute failed to deploy? Good. Go to your reserve. Reserve fails? Good. Prepare for impact.
And then the final one I'll leave is the boogeyman checks under his bed at night for Jocko Willink.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so a little Monday morning motivation for you guys. How about that?
Love it.
We got a lot of stuff planned today, man.
Yeah.
We have a special guest co-host coming on in a little while.
Yep. That's going to be cool.
But first, let's talk about some poll stuff. We have the results in.
We do.
From the Strat versus Les Paul poll.
Yeah, we argued ourselves on it for a little while, and then
we
put it to
both
you
went
guys.
Les Paul.
We both went Les Paul, and then we put it to you guys.
And here's what you guys said. Matt's pulling it up now.
I'm trying to pull it up. I'm remembering where
Matt's
I saved
handicapped, so he's very slow.
I'm pretty sure I saved it on this right here.
We still occasionally let him participate.
Yeah, probably shouldn't. Let's change that. No more
participation from Matt.
Yeah,
you're fired.
I think it was like 78% though. Wherever the fuck it went. There it is.
Yeah, we found it.
71%.
71% chose Les Paul. 29% chose Strat.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so sorry, Fender.
Sorry, Fender. I am personally happy with the results because I think the Les Paul is an iconic guitar that's used on so many records for that rock and roll sound. Obviously, Strats are used on tons of stuff too, but that Les Paul sound,
you can't get that kind of big, thick wood growl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So anyways, you guys
Strat does a lot of things really well.
So you guys all agreed with us in the long run. Not all of it. I mean, 29% of you guys are obviously
29% of you guys are
still
wrong,
catching on.
so.
Yeah, you're still catching on. One day you'll learn.
No, Strats are awesome too. So we have a new poll for you guys this week, and that is simply Megadeth versus Metallica.
Yeah, the classic metalhead debate. And obviously, if you know anything about the two bands, one was formed because another member was ejected out of it, out of Metallica.
And that member was?
That was Dave Mustaine. He got kicked out for partying too hardy.
Same as Steven Adler.
Yeah, pretty much, except he was the lead guitar player versus the drummer, so a little different.
And Kirk Hammett replaced him, though, right? So Hammett's basically the original guy.
Well, I mean, the first record was Dave Mustaine. So
what was the first record again?
Kill 'Em All.
So that was Dave Mustaine on that record?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and he wrote like 3 of the songs on them and took them with him and rewrote them as Megadeth songs. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff, like weird little things about it when a band breaks up and who gets what and whose is what, that kind of whole thing. But so yeah, and they left him high and dry. They left him with a plane ticket on his chest because he passed out from the night before or whatever and was drunk and acted like an idiot. And they greeted him with a train ticket back to home.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Brutal. With
anyways, let us know what you guys think. If you guys are
Megadeth versus
the
Metallica,
original Metallica.
We also have to talk about it and give our answers right now on the air. So Matt, Megadeth or Metallica?
I'm gonna go Metallica, only because I think they are the leaders. They have led the metal genre for a long time. Like as far as like, I mean, for a while they weren't the leaders, but I just think that they've kept the name alive or kept metal alive more than Megadeth. I believe. I don't know. Maybe that's totally subjective and that's totally wrong, but I get to pick my own choice because it's my vote.
Sure, and your reasoning can be your own too. I picked Metallica as well. I just realized these polls are going to be kind of weird because you and I tend to agree on a lot of stuff.
I'm going to choose Megadeth because I can argue both sides.
Yeah, that's what's fun about a lot of these is we can both argue both sides.
Well, I already said Metallica,
I would say Megadeth is the better like players, the better band.
They've definitely had a lot more different musicians in the group, so there's a difference right there. The fact that Megadeth's had changes like
player to player. Megadeth outplays Metallica. But I would pick Metallica because I like them better.
They rate the better songs, in my opinion, even though Megadeth has written some of my favorite songs ever. So it's really hard to say that. But
not the biggest fan of Mustaine's voice. I will say that.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's a little whiny. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. That made me cough. Awesome. Shouldn't have done that.
All right.
So there we go. We both choose Metallica. That poll will be up sometime tomorrow.
I'm going to vote Megadeth.
Monday
I'm
when this
changing
comes
my
out.
mind. I'm going to vote Megadeth.
Okay.
Because I really do like the song Tornado of Souls, Holy Wars. Like, there's so many
Holy
good
Wars is
songs.
great.
I immediately put my foot in my mouth. I'm going Megadeth.
All right. Matt's a tool. We all know it.
I'm
We
a
didn't want to
tool.
say it, but now we're going to say it.
I'm a sharp tool. You better watch out.
All right. So we have, and we were talking about this a little bit off air before we started. We have a huge idea for the talk show, for the podcast.
Yes.
For 2019.
Yeah.
And we're not going to completely reveal it yet, but we do want to lightly tease it a little bit. So Matt, what are we teasing?
All right. Well, I guess I'll say that it's something along the lines of the 24-hour EP.
Okay. Good.
But it's a lot more participative on your part.
On your part, yeah.
So hopefully you guys will like the idea and go along with it, and you guys could come up with something really cool at the end of this. And
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of participation from the listeners.
We're going to be making some music, but there's a really cool idea behind this, and I think you guys will all think it's cool.
And we're thinking it's going to last all of 2019.
Right. We're going to make it a long-term project so you guys can, give us your input as we go. And hopefully it turns out really cool. That's all I'm going to say. I think we can't tease it any more than that without giving it away. So
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. And the reason we're not giving too much away is because we're not quite solid
Exactly.
on the idea.
It's a brand new idea, but
so we're going to have it
we've
solid
always wanted
before.
to do something like this, so it's going to be awesome.
Yep. All right. So a couple other things I wanted to talk about here before we get into our special guest co-host. who's
Yeah.
gonna call in shortly.
You just had something cool happen. Tell us about it.
Me and my buddy Bruce McKagan, who we want to get on the show in 2019 as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's the brother of
Duff.
McKagan. Yeah. Guns N' Roses. So Bruce and I went on the Appetite for Distortion podcast hosted by Brando. He's out of New York City. And we went on there and talked Guns N' Roses, and we talked about a big event that we have coming up that I may or may not have talked about on this podcast.
I think we mentioned it one time, but yeah, you haven't really laid it out.
Yeah,
so.
and this is it's time to lay it out now. So it's a benefit by the ROC, R-O-C, Renew Our Community. And it is called Rock and Roll Evening with the Stars. So Bruce McKagan's the one that put all this together. He's the executive director of the ROC. So the ROC is a nonprofit that serves the homeless and impoverished of York County, which is where I live in South Carolina. And Bruce has been making plans for this fundraiser for a long time. I remember he talked to me about this. It was like a year and a half ago.
Right. So
he was talking about
for
this
a while.
This has been in the works for a long time. So Bruce wanted Duff to come to our community and play something. Whatever that was, they didn't know. But now they know. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime event that brings legendary rock band members to York's historic McKelvey Center. So Duff will be there from GNR, of course. Tommy DiCarlo, the lead singer of Boston. Parthenon Huxley, who's in the orchestra, which is former members of ELO. Gary Green, the drummer for Hootie and the Blowfish. And yours truly. I'm playing guitar for it.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome, man.
That is going to be awesome.
So I get to play guitar with Duff McKagan. So
yeah, in a cool little set. Not all Guns N' Roses or anything like that, but cool set, and it's for a good cause. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, so that's actually coming up. This will be released Monday. That's coming up on Thursday.
That week, yeah. So it'll be 3 days from the time you hear this.
So, I mean, I don't feel that nervousness or butterflies yet, but I feel like as that
when it gets closer,
as that
that's
Thursday,
a good thing,
as you wake up Thursday morning and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's on, baby. That's all right.
So I've been practicing up because and I was thinking about this a lot too when talking with Bruce about having a brother that's that famous. It's like, it's got to be weird that everywhere you go and everything you do, there's cameras, there's people following you. There's, I'm not talking about Bruce, I'm talking about Duff.
I'm talking about for Duff, right?
Yeah, but like, I mean, everything you do it's like the Midas touch, like everything's turning to gold. Like people are always asking you for autographs. Like, how do you live life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't go to the bar and have a drink. You can't go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee.
Well, maybe you can ask him when you're in sound check or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him all these dumbass questions.
Kidding. Well,
I do think a lot about it, and I wanted to know what you think. And
I'm going to go to the thing too and guitar tech for you. So that'll be cool.
Yeah. We finagled Matt into it as well.
Yes.
We did. I got to have Matt there.
We'll be there.
I can't function alone.
Support.
So we have with us today a very special co-host, Danny Schmitz. Danny, how are you, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. And we've been speaking a little bit off air about a lot of different stuff. And it's good to finally have you on air and talk in person. And I wanted to rope you into this conversation, which is why I brought you in right there. and that is this. And I want you two to talk about this. How, if you meet someone famous, what's the appropriate way to deal with that? How do you deal with that?
You
I'm
go
not
ahead
the
first,
best.
Danny.
Sorry. I thought
You
were
go first.
talking-
No, you go first.
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask. I always thought I'd play it cool, and I've met some famous people and totally blown it. So I'm not an expert on that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the key for me and what I try and keep in mind is just that they're normal people, and try not to think of the only thing you know them for or whatever.
Right.
Like whatever comes to your mind first is what everybody asks them. I always try to remember that and try and come up with some kind of creativity and not the same answer or question or whatever. So that's my only thing, but it is hard to think of something cool or awesome all the time. So a lot of times I avoid them. Like if I see somebody
I
famous,
absolutely agree with
I'm
that.
not like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to chase them down usually.
Yeah.
If I have something awesome to say, or I really like am excited to see that person, and I come up with something, I will, but I'll definitely.
I've never asked anyone for a picture. I feel like that's weird.
I've never asked anybody for a picture either. Actually, yeah, I don't.
The only thing that I can relate it to is how I would feel,
Yeah.
you know? And I would not want people running up to me being like, let me get a picture.
Right.
So I don't do that to other
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
But, and to be fair, I haven't met that many famous people.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if I've seen a lot of famous people, but as I see them, I don't feel the need to like run up to them. I'm kind of like, oh, that's cool. I saw blah, blah, blah. Keep
I
going.
always like to at least say that I, appreciate what they do. You know, like if I am a real fan, that might be the only thing I say to them. Be like, hey man, don't want to waste your time, but I just want to tell you that I really appreciate everything you do. Like all their, like I met Phil one time and he was in Phil Anselmo.
Yeah, I remember you told
from
me this.
Pantera. He was in a table basically at this event, and he was selling autographs and pictures and stuff like that. And I didn't have any money at the time, and I was like not trying to buy a picture with Phil Anselmo or anything like that. So I just waited in line, and I said to I finally got my turn, and I was like, hey man, I don't have any money or anything, but I just wanted to let you know, man, I appreciate all the music you make, man. It's so cool, because he's so many different bands, like Down and Pantera and Superjoint Ritual, like all these different projects that are well-known projects.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think this was like right the time I met him was right around that time where he had that big issue with the
racist comments,
the symbolism, whatever he did
the Nazi stuff.
Yeah, the Nazi thing, whatever. So that was really bummer to see that, but I still love all the music.
Yeah, see, I mean, I've read like one headline. Like I don't know any of that story.
Yeah. Well, somebody just did a salute to Hitler, and he did it back to him, which was really dumb. Like
That's
he
weird.
shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Not a good move.
No.
The PR person was like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, the publicist in the back, like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
She's already calling people before the show's over.
Yeah, it got him thrown off a bunch of festivals too, man. It was a bad time for them.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Was that Pantera?
No, this is after Pantera. Well, after Pantera.
Was this after Dime died?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually remember this was kind of recently.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was. It was like 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. What band is he with now? Or do you
I
know?
think he's still got several projects. He's still doing I don't think anything's really done. So it's all out there. But
Man.
anyways,
Danny, what about you? Any more famous people stories?
I've got a few. I got to meet one of my favorite bands. I've done a lot of merchandise selling for bands, and I got to sell for. Do you guys know Amberlin?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, so I got to sell for them, and at the time, this was probably like 7 years ago or something. At the time, they were one of my favorite bands, and after the show, their like tour merchandise rep was like, "Oh, come meet the band, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." And I of course I had one of my band's demos, which is like the lamest thing you can do, which is to give them your CD, And so like the bass player came out and the drummer, and I was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you," whatever. And then I thought that was all I was gonna meet, and then I see the singer come out. And I'm like, oh my God, like my heart starts fluttering. And I'm like, ugh. And I like just kind of like ran up to him, was like, oh my God, I love you. Here's my CD. And he literally jumped backwards. Like I literally scared him. So I'm not a small guy. I'm like 6'2". And
okay.
I mean, I'm not huge, but I'm a pretty big guy. And he's not that big. So like,
Yeah.
if I were him and I saw me jump at him, like, oh yeah, check out my stuff. So I literally scared him, and he's probably talking about me.
Yeah.
And then on the way home, I think I was in Phoenix. I was flying home and I had a layover in O'Hare, and I saw Paramore.
Oh wow!
They were eating at the same restaurant I was eating at. But the reason I was on tour and I was flying home because I was suffering from vertigo. So which never happened to me before and never happened to me since. But it's the weirdest thing. You just literally can't stand up straight. It's like you're just plastered drunk 24/7. And so I'm like at the airport, like dizzy. And I called my girlfriend because she's a huge fan of Paramore. I'm like, oh my God, like Paramore's right there. She's like, you got to go get Haley's autograph. Get Haley's autograph. I'm like, there's no way I'm walking up to her and literally like falling and crushing her and like canceling the tour. Because that's what's going to happen.
Break the table in half.
That. Yeah, that's what would have happened. So I just avoided that.
Probably a good idea. You never know.
And then I met Dave Grohl once. I met him at the airport, LAX.
Nice.
And that was, I kind of learned my lesson. So I was like, I'm going to play this cooler. So I was a little bit cooler with him, but still.
And he's a nice guy. So apparently he's pretty approachable. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I just like, I always think like how exhausting that must be.
Oh, it is.
Because it's nice that you have that perk, but it's also like you didn't necessarily ask for that, you know?
Right.
Like when you started out making music, you just wanted to make cool music with your friends.
Right.
That's how Dave started with Nirvana.
Sure.
And it's like, and now all of a sudden, like people won't leave you alone.
Yeah, it's
kind of like you forfeited all privacy, but you didn't choose to do that necessarily. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's like a double-edged sword.
On the recent Tyson and Joe Rogan interview, man, that's what they talk about a lot. Like being Mike Tyson, not only being the most like really famous, not even like everybody knows who you are, but you're the baddest motherfucker. Especially like in that time period where he was like the dude. Like
11-second knockouts and stuff.
Everybody wanted like a piece of you or whatever. Like you wanted to take a picture with him or whatever, and just that was craziness. And how do you live a normal life? And he was the champ at 18 or something like that.
He was
He was really young, trying to process it all. So
man,
craziness.
That's how I wonder like somebody like Justin Bieber. Dude's been famous since he was 6?
Yeah,
7?
it's
like,
ridiculous.
He doesn't know anything else. Like I can't imagine
if he just stays out of jail and doesn't do crazy things on the news, then he's accomplished something in his life. Because I mean, it's just. He's got the weirdest circumstances.
You have no perspective on real life.
Of what real life is like getting up to go to work every day or anything like that. He's doing a different type of work, entertainment business since he was such a young kid.
Which has its own kind of pressures. And,
crazies in there. And
like,
sure
I
the
can't
people he's
imagine
working with,
We went, me and my buddy, when we were in high school, we probably talked about this on the show, but we went and saw that documentary he came out with, Never Say Never, whatever it's called.
I never saw it, but.
We went to see it as a joke. Because that was the time where it was cool to be like,
but I bet it was pretty good though.
And we walked out there like, damn, that was pretty good.
You can't ever go to see something like that and then take it as a joke because like that's somebody's life, man. That's their whole thing.
Well, we went in there like this is going to be hysterical, and we walked out going like, that kid's real good. He can sing. He's real smart. Like,
well, at least you guys were big enough to admit that. That's good.
Yeah. Well, the moment I realized he is actually a very, very good singer is there's a scene in that movie where he's just warming up in a bathroom, and then you can tell it's just like camera mic audio. And he sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, this guy's legit.
Yeah.
He's like 16 or something. Like, dude, it's not fair. So I don't know if you follow us on, actually, I know you do follow us on Instagram, Danny. And we have, we posted something the other day called Unpopular Opinions. And we got a lot of comments. So I'll start.
Yeah.
It's self-explanatory, unpopular opinions.
Yeah.
Mine is that I'm not a Beatles fan.
Yeah.
I just could give two shits about the Beatles. And of course, that's very unpopular.
Yeah.
So let's go around the metaphorical room here. What's yours, Matt?
What's my dislike?
What's your unpopular opinion? Doesn't have to be a dislike. Just an unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion maybe is that I feel like a lot of people like the Deftones, and when I listen to the Deftones, I kind of makes me queasy. I don't like it. Like I don't understand what is the appeal about it at all, to be honest. So that's the only thing I could say along the same line, I guess. But the Beatles, man, I don't get that because. Like all our music is based on it, man. Like that's what everybody listened to back then. And, because they were so popular, and music wasn't as diverse as it is now. So everybody kind of listened to the Beatles and now makes their music almost in a weird vein of the Beatles. But
to me, it's like saying, dude, the best phone's a Nokia. It's like, well, no, it's not.
Well, I'm not. No, I don't think the Beatles hold up to everything now. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. But I think that it's like you can appreciate like where our music came from.
It's tough for me though because I've never known it that way. I grew up knowing Slash and Greg Howe and all these shredders and insane people that they might have been inspired by George Harrison, but I certainly am maybe indirectly, but I'm inspired by them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
and then I go back and listen to the Beatles with the
don't-
perspective of that, and it's kind of like, I don't get it, dude.
Yeah, so when you listen to the Beatles, you don't hear like the where music went and from that.
Sure. Well, I don't have any perspective. I mean, I'm 26.
Right.
Like,
Well, yeah, I'm not old enough to know the Beatles either, bro.
So I don't have like,
But I just I listen to the Beatles and I hear our music nowadays. That's where I get out of it, at least.
I definitely have a respect for them. Not
And I love
shitting
Paul
on them.
McCartney's voice and like all that stuff. So
But I'm just not going to sit around and listen to the Beatles. That's just me. What about you, Danny? What's your unpopular opinion?
Oh boy, I don't know. I I don't know how unpopular it is, but the way you feel about the Beatles, that's how I feel about the Rolling Stones.
I also kind of feel that way about the Rolling Stones.
No, I'm out. I'm out. You guys
music
lost
is
me.
so bland to me.
You guys lost
Say that
me.
again,
I'm out.
Danny.
No, just to me, the music is just so bland and boring. Like I just get nothing out of it. I don't know how they're as legendary as they are.
So I'm actually full of these unpopular opinions because I don't feel like I don't know how to phrase this, but I don't feel like tied to or obligated to say that these old people are great. You know what I mean? Is that
I don't feel obligated.
that's
at all.
phrased wrong, but like
I
a
don't
lot of
feel
people I feel
obligated.
like are obligated to say like the Beatles are the best, and I just don't feel that. Maybe that's just me.
I do not feel obligated. I really do truly feel that they were great musicians and they pushed like music to be what it is today. And that's what I respect. Because if you listen to music prior to the Beatles, there's a big difference. Like and other bands too. Like they're like before Led Zeppelin.
But that's what I'm saying.
before-
Like I didn't get to live that transition, and it's tough for me to like you can tell me that what you just said. You can say that to me a
But I
million
can
times,
hear it though.
and I
it's not-
agree.
yeah, but it's not that
But
I'm
it's
saying
like-
that I know that because I was alive during that and I watched it happen. I can hear it. I can literally listen to that music and I can go, oh, this
Sure.
is where it came. And I don't know. I hear people's influences. I've always been interested too, in my own like personal like nerdism is to find out what my favorite artists like, and then go listen to that whole discography,
Yeah.
or find out what album they dug on this band or whatever, you know.
I love listening
And I
to
can hear
people
that.
talk about these unpopular opinions because a lot of times they'll say something and I'll immediately be like, yeah, that's a good point. And two of them I'll share with you. Now, one of them, Tom Segura said he hates Frank Sinatra.
Mhm.
And of course, everyone would immediately be like, whoa, what?
Yeah,
But he described it for a second. He said, dude, he doesn't sing. He just talks.
yeah,
And I thought about that and I was like, it's actually a really good point.
yeah.
Like,
I get that too. Yeah.
and the other one is somebody said they hated the Eagles. And that's another one, right? You can't hate the Eagles. But they're a bit,
yeah, you know what? I like Hotel California, that song. I just don't get the appeal.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
and
Yeah.
what they said was
It's the
the
guitar
Eagles
playing.
are too vanilla. And the way
Yeah.
they phrased that, I was like, that is fucking nail on the head, dude.
Yeah.
They're so like lame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
They're-
all the music is like,
Yeah.
this
There's
is
nothing
lame,
edgy.
dude.
There's nothing
Like-
edgy. Yeah. I feel
And,
the
and it's
same
good
way.
music, but it's lame.
Yeah.
You know what I
do
mean?
Do you know Dire Straits music at all?
I do not really care for the Dire Straits.
I love the guitar playing in Dire Straits.
That's
The
Mark
mu-
Knopfler,
yeah.
right?
Mark Knopfler,
yeah.
right?
But my thing is I don't think that they had a few good songs, obviously, that were, huge successes.
If you like Sultans of Swing, I don't think we can be friends anymore.
I do like songs.
I'm
on,
going
what
to
about
talk
Walk of
about the song.
I like a lot of
What?
I have a couple of the records, the Brothers in Arms record, and there's another one too. But I like listening to their albums through, but it's the music though more than the.
And I'll be the first to say that a lot of my unpopular opinions, like the Beatles one and the Rolling Stone one, they come from ignorance. Like I don't know their whole catalog. I haven't spent hours listening to it.
Sure.
But what I've heard has not made me want to go seek more. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
And it's like I have to learn Come Together for this gig, and I'm sitting here learning it like half asleep, dude. Like it's so fucking boring.
It's pretty
and it's just
stagnant.
like that's just
great
me.
tune.
dude.
Like, have you heard Aerosmith's cover of that song?
Come Together?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's good, dude. Check out that, because that's one like you can add like a
Everybody
lively
covers that song,
performance. But taking a song like that, and and it's such an old song too, and having like this like not modern, I guess Aerosmith. Whatever.
Aerosmith is probably one of the oldest bands that I feel like started to have that edge that people talk about the Rolling
Right.
Stones having. I don't
Right.
hear it there. I hear it in Aerosmith.
Right.
I feel like I started personally. I started to get like, oh, there it is.
Right.
With Aerosmith, and then of course with GNR and all. But
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
there's a lot of Aerosmith, and I'm like, damn, that's good. And that was like 1970 whatever.
And then there was a lot of Aerosmith that wasn't good.
But a lot of for sure. But a lot of like, I don't know a lot of music that I love from the 60s. For me, a lot of it starts in the 70s.
Right.
I mean, Hendrix was in the 60s. That's good.
Right.
He's not my favorite, but I like him.
He was big in the 70s though, right?
No, he
was
died in
like,
1970.
Oh shit! So okay, so I was thinking get the dates wrong.
But he didn't have that long of a career, though, I don't think. Danny,
Right.
do you know? You're a guitar player.
Yeah, I think he was 27?
He was
Yeah.
27 when he died.
He is in the 27 Club.
Yeah.
And I know he died in 1970 because I remember when I learned that, I was like, oh, I thought he died like way after that.
So he probably had
But I think he started getting big, and I could be way off base, but I think it was like late 60s. He started finally getting
Right.
famous. He'd been doing stuff
didn't he
before
kill
that,
Clapton in '68 or something like that? Wasn't it something like he got on stage with Clapton? Something I forget. They said he killed Clapton.
I read his one of his biographies, but I was in high school. It was forever ago.
You know that story though, right? Where he got on stage with Clapton. Well, Clapton was the guitar player at this time, right? And everybody looked up to him. From
it's another one I don't get.
yeah. Well, there you go. But anyways, Jimi Hendrix got on stage with him, and lit the crowd on fire on Chris. I'm sorry, a Clapton show. You know, what I mean? It's pretty fucking
That's crazy.
amazing. And then that's how he kind of made his name after that.
One thing I thought was interesting about his career that I do remember is that he started in the U.S. and nobody gave a shit.
Right.
And he moved to London or England or wherever
Right.
and blew up
Yeah.
and then came back here and everyone loved him.
Yeah.
And it was like,
what
Happened there? What happened there?
fuck you guys.
Yep.
So let me read through some of these comments we got. And actually a lot of them I agree with. I don't care for Slayer, someone
Yeah.
says.
No,
I don't
not
care.
my-
I
not
don't,
my least
Dallas,
favorite.
I don't care for Slayer.
Yeah, my least favorite out of the big four metal.
We had to play Raining Blood for something.
Okay.
And just like, what?
Yeah, you didn't
Like-
like it.
Well, it gets to the solo and it's like, okay, I can stand
riff
on a
is-
whammy bar too. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
That riff is pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
The main riff.
Ran-
the main riff is good.
Yeah.
But then that part where it's just chromatic. It's like, what, dude? That's not a riff. Like, that's like a warm up exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one? Let's get through some of these.
Murdermate says, not only is Anthrax unlikable, but the crowd at their shows is among the smelliest of any band across all genres.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
I saw them at Tremont one time, dude, and that's too tight.
Tremont?
That's too small of a place for Anthrax. It was
That's
a little metal
tiny,
fest.
dude. I played Tremont.
Yeah, it was a little metal festival that they had, and Anthrax was the big draw. And man, that place was so packed, like so packed, and just sweat. You weren't walking through the crowd like to get a
Yeah.
beer, like
Yeah.
you're getting covered in sweat just because everybody's covered.
Those are the shows where I'm like, I'm gonna stay home.
Yeah, well, I learned my lesson. Not go to that big of a festival. at
Someone
such a small
says
place.
Nirvana is overrated.
Disagree.
100% agree.
Nah,
Nirvana,
disagree.
dude, I'm not a Nirvana fan.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, do you realize how many like famous bands I really don't like? That's kind of weird.
yeah, I know. I'm starting to realize that for somebody who says you like all music, you don't like any of the big music.
Yeah.
Nirvana is art. It's an art form, man, and it's old now too. So it's,
You fucking hippie.
I
Get
know.
out of here.
well, that's what I am. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll wear it proudly.
It's an art, man.
It is. It's a.
That's why you
fucking
like.
like,
that's why you like the '60s,
I like-
man.
I like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Other than that, I'm not a huge Nirvana guy either, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
Grunge for me is Alice in Chains is number one, and then
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden is my number
Yeah.
one in grunge for sure.
Alice in Chains is the fucking shit. dude.
I like Alice in Chains a
Nah,
lot.
not a huge fan of Alice in Chains. Never. I mean, I like the guitar playing in it. I was just never a fan of Len Staley's voice, but and that's an unpopular opinion, right
That
there.
is an unpopular
Yeah.
opinion. There you go. All right. Somebody said, no, that's not really one. Another one is Pink Floyd sucks.
Yeah.
That one I don't agree with.
That's you can go right back to the same thing. The art form, man. That's how they're making it a very artistic piece. You know, all their stuff is very abstract.
There's some Pink Floyd shit that's hilarious. Like the stuff with Sid Barrett,
Right.
like in the very early days.
I wouldn't know.
They have a song called Bike. Dude, please go listen to Bike by Pink Floyd and then come back and tell me they're your favorite band. It's hysterical.
I like how they do a lot with a simple idea. Their songs, you know, they're very simple as far as
I just imagine you meeting David Gilmour and being like, "Hey man, I really appreciate how you take a really like simple thing and like keep it simple."
well, I shouldn't have said it that
Make
way.
it so.
Yeah. No, I think they make it sound awesome. But
Yeah.
I'm a huge Pink Floyd.
They definitely fill some space. Like they're not afraid to stay on like the one chord for like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they'll slowly go to the 4 chord. It's like, all right,
You got to be patient.
yeah. I think you got to be on drugs. Really, is what you got to be.
They help.
Yeah. Anyway, any other unpopular opinions around the round table of doom here?
I think we got enough, man. We've shit on enough bands.
I've got one.
All right,
oh,
go for it.
I've got
Go for
two
it, dude.
more.
Two more. All right.
One, Carlos Santana.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Okay.
Agree.
That's not it's hugely unpopular, I guess. It's, you know. And also Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Okay.
possibly my least favorite band of all time. I
Really?
don't know.
See, I love the Chili Peppers, and but I know one other person that hates the Chili Peppers.
I don't hate them, but I don't get what the big hype is. Like I like some of their songs, but I don't understand why people think they're gods.
They
Like,
definitely have a
Chad
lot
Smith
of they
is
definitely have a
not
lot of
god
shit
to
in their
me.
catalog, dude. Like a lot of shit. But one summer, me and my buddy Ashton spent the whole summer listening to Blood Sugar Sex
Yeah,
Magic,
yeah.
and I'm convinced that album is a masterpiece. That was '91. That was Rick Rubin, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff around, like aside from that album, it gets iffy for me.
Yeah.
and I don't like a lot of their like hits,
Right.
like Californication,
Yeah.
lame, like.
Not a big fan of that
A lot
song.
of the shit from Stadium Arcadium I don't really like, but Blood Sugar Sex Magic, it has this like real raw like room sound to it. It's
Yeah.
real funky and it's got a lot of attitude that I really like.
Yeah, that's what I listen for.
You know what?
too.
I'll agree with you there. That album wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other stuff that I get why people say that. And since Frushi left, it's just, I don't really like him. So
Right.
the only time I saw him live was They played the Colonial Life Arena, dude. That's their level.
They played the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. They did.
Not even plugged in. They barely played it. They mimed
Well,
it.
you know why they did that, right? Did you read about that?
Well, they were on stage ready to go, and they told them that they weren't going to have amps.
Nah, that's false. They had that planned. That was the plan the whole time.
They
but-
must have.
But what they did is what they played for them to play to was their rehearsal the day before. So you're hearing what they did.
Right,
live.
right.
But they decided not to plug in to show people we're
well,
faking it and we're not afraid to.
Right. Well, that's what I thought that they were
Like they weren't.
confused
They
about.
felt like it was a little unethical, I guess, to plug in and like really pretend.
Right,
So
right.
they just left it unplugged so
Yeah.
people would realize
almost like a
okay,
music video.
Like yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although kind of want to fake it a little better. But yeah, that was kind of their thing. They didn't want to They didn't want to really fake it. Does that make sense?
Well, they didn't want to try and look like they were pulling something over on you.
Right. Yeah, because no one would have known if they had plugged in.
Right.
Man, that lip syncing stuff is silly.
You think people should just lip sync and
I don't think you should lip sync. I should do whatever you need to do to get a good show, and people should shut the fuck up. That's what
lip
I think.
sync?
No, not lip sync, but like if you have like backing vocals on a backing track, like
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't
that's
care.
cool.
That doesn't
That's
mean
cool.
you're a piece of shit.
But your
Like,
performance, I think, should be heard. I don't think that you should be doing anything that's not heard. I think that's the part where it gets really weird. Like you're pretending to do something you're not.
if you're
doing.
pretending to do something, yeah, that's probably where the line should be drawn. I think.
I think so too.
What about you, Danny?
Yeah. I play in a proggy-ish metal band, and it's just me and the drummer, and we have backing tracks to fill out the sound.
Mhm.
So like we're not pretending to do anything. We're playing everything we're playing,
Right.
but there's just additional stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's totally
definitely-
cool.
Because and for us it was just we couldn't find the musicians
Right.
to play with us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you don't want 20
that
people
was
on
our-
stage too. Like if you really had to.
Periphery too. They have a bass backing track, or at least they did. I don't know if they still do.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of stems out of necessity, but it's like what's so boneheaded is when people look at it, it's like, oh, fake. It's like, dude, you don't get it.
As long as you're not pretending to play something you're not, that's
Yeah.
the only thing that I get.
Well,
griped
here's what I kind of understand. If you're not educated on it, if you're not a musician and you're watching two guys and there's all this shit going on, you hear keyboards and this shit that you don't see on stage.
Yeah.
Your question is where is it ending?
Yeah.
Is everything I'm seeing fake? Because I don't know. I'm looking at a guitar player. That could be a bass for all I know. I'm not a musician.
Sure.
So I don't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I could see that.
People just
The other place where I kind of understand the lip syncing, I don't understand why people get upset is when they're like, like for someone like Justin Bieber, like dude gets up on a stage and has like a dance crew and he's dancing
Right.
and doing all this crazy shit. And it's like that dude, there's no way you can sing if you're like dancing and climbing things and doing backflips.
Right.
So it's like either you want a good show with the music or do you want a really good singer. If you really want to hear him sing, he's just got to stand in front of the microphone and sing.
right.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be entertained by that? Probably not. So like what?
And what
you
they're
know,
going there to do is see him dance around anyways. That's what they want.
It's a hard lesson
Exactly.
to learn that people hear 75% with their eyes.
Yeah, they do, man.
Exactly.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
The guy
Yeah.
running across the stage, people think he's doing the guitar solo.
Yeah. Did we talk about that on
Yeah,
the
we
show
did. I
last
think
time?
we did. If
I'll
not,
tell
it was
that. I'll
off
tell
air.
that to Danny real quick. Or yeah, it might have been off air, but I was talking to Bruce about performance or something. Bruce, you might have heard me talk right as you came on, Danny. Bruce McKagan's a friend of mine. His brother's Duff McKagan, so that's how I kind of know him. But
That's awesome.
we were talking about performance, and he said way back in the 60s, him and his older brother were watching a band, and Bruce was a musician. His big brother John's not a musician. There's 8 McKagans, by the way. There's a lot of them. This is the oldest brother, John. He said, so John's not a musician. Bruce is. Bruce was watching this guitar player play the solo, and he was just kind of standing there with his eyes closed, like killing this like bluesy solo. And Bruce was just like, this is the greatest guitar player I've ever seen. Like, this guy's amazing. And the rhythm guitar player was running across the stage, like just full on, like left to right, just like sprinting back and forth. And John was like, yeah, man, he is amazing. And he was talking about the guy that was moving. Like he thought the good sound like solo was coming from the guy that was running back and forth.
Right.
And that is tough for us as musicians to even understand.
When I was a kid, I think I had that same thing. I would just be looking at somebody and I would just be like, wait a minute, he's not playing that. And I'd go, oh shit, he's playing. And I'd look over across. And I remember getting
like the
caught
guy
a
with the
lot.
wacky hair must be the one playing.
Right,
You know what I mean?
I would
Like,
get caught with that a lot for sure
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
but it's kind of like we forget sometimes that like not only do they not have any frame of reference for like what part of the guitar sounds like what,
Right.
like if you're high up on the neck, you're playing the solo.
Right.
If you're low, you're doing the rhythm. Like they have no concept of that. They don't even know the difference between a guitar and a bass.
Right.
They'll look at a bass player and be like, that guy's a guitar player. Like they just have no concept of it.
Yep.
And that's an interesting headspace that we kind of need to.
We overlook it a lot.
And we need to get back to it a little bit because it could help us in some ways, especially creatively.
Yep.
For sure.
So a lot of times I think we write music for musicians, and that's not.
Well, we write them for ourselves, and we are musicians.
Yeah. So Danny, tell us a little bit about you. Let's dig in here.
Well, right now I'm doing more music production. Like I'm a music producer more than anything else, but I started off as just a guitar player in a rock band and wanted to do that. And then I moved to New York about 4 years ago, and I kind of got more into the production side, recording side, and so I've been doing more of that, and like some licensing, sync placements, stuff like that.
Nice.
And just producing other clients and stuff. But I also do some of my own stuff, and I played in a couple different bands, and let's see, I toured with Austin Winkler, the singer from Hinder, as his lead guitar player for a while.
Very cool.
That's huge because there was a year there where I really liked Hinder.
Yeah.
And that's what inspired me to start Osara.
Oh, no shit.
I think
Nice.
Ashton and I went to the 5 Points Festival for St. Patrick's Day in Columbia.
Okay.
And Hinder was the headliner. And I had designed all the posters, like graphic designed all the posters for one of the venues there.
Oh, cool.
And the guy that ran the venue gave me and Ashton 2 passes to just backstage wherever we wanted to go.
Cool.
So we went backstage and just hung out like in the backstage area, and we ended up drinking all of their monsters. And we didn't know it was theirs. We just
Nice.
fucking chugged like 10 of them. And that was those lemonade monsters that I love so much. That's where I realized I liked them, was that
Nice.
day. But anyway, we didn't really get to meet Hinder or anything. They were on they were such rock stars. I loved it. They were on their bus the whole time.
Yeah.
Everyone else is kind of out like mingling around. They're literally on the bus. And then like 5 minutes to showtime, the bus door opens. They come out, dude. They look so rock star. They're all wearing like black jeans, black jacket.
Sure.
All of them are like blacked out.
Yeah.
And they walk from the bus to the stage, crash into the first song, play the whole set, and then walk back off the stage onto the bus, and it just drives off.
Nice.
I was like, dude, that's the most ballsy thing I've ever seen. That is awesome.
Yep.
I love it. So yeah, but I love Austin Winkler's
What year were you
voice.
playing with them, Danny?
This was 2 years ago.
Okay.
3 and 2 years ago, last couple of years.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
so Austin left Hinder, and then you toured with his solo project, I guess.
Correct.
That's right.
But we played like 7 or 8 Hinder songs, 8 or 9.
Which ones did you
songs.
play? I know you did Lips of an Angel. What other one?
Oh yeah, Better Than You.
That's the first album, right?
Or Better Than Me, Better Than Me, Better Than You. I always forget. It's one of those.
Yep.
Yeah. Could be either one.
Red Tail Lights. We played. I'm trying to remember all the names. I don't even remember all the names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him based on like, and it's been so long
riff
since
or
I
the
listened to him,
chorus
dude.
or
This
something.
would have been like late 2011, maybe early
Right,
2011.
Yeah.
And that's when we saw him. It was probably March 2011 when we saw him.
Yeah.
And that's Osara kind of got after that because our first album came out in 2012.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you
So-
cite Hinder as one of your
Hinder was the main
references?
reason, dude. Yeah, like we have mixed references.
Yeah.
then, dude. I told you about that first
I
record,
think
right?
so. Yeah. You told me.
Have
that
I told
was-
the listeners?
Yeah, I think so. We talked about it a little bit, but it was.
But we
it
went
was
down. We paid a lot of money to go to a real high end studio.
Yeah.
in South Carolina, and the engineer just had no idea what he was
Yeah,
doing.
you
dude.
guys got the blow off treatment pretty much. Like
Yep.
he didn't work.
Well, here's when I knew we were in bad hands.
Yeah.
I asked the engineer, "Oh, what instrument do you play?" And he goes, "I don't really play anything." I was like, fuck. Like,
yeah, plays the keyboard.
this isn't going to be good. And I think he said he played saxophone in like 3rd grade. This
Oh,
dude
wow.
was like 35.
Even worse,
Like,
he should have just kept with nothing.
yeah. So that album,
3rd grade.
that album didn't come out great, and we were too young and too dumb to know like
Yeah.
that we should have
Sure,
done something
sure.
more to fix it. You know?
Yeah.
Because we were just like, because what we were hearing coming out of the speakers as we were playing, we were like, okay, well this doesn't sound great, but I'm sure once it's mixed, because the mix process, what the hell was that? We had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this will sound amazing once it's mixed, dude. It sounded no different. Like,
Danny, have you ever had any crazy mixing or recording experiences when you were first starting out? Maybe.
From the artist side or from
From the artist side, I'm thinking just because of probably the earlier side, right?
yeah, either one though. Any
Either
crazy
one.
stories. I'm always down for crazy stories.
You know, to be honest, I've had some not really. I've had really pretty good experiences
That's
recording
good.
in the studio. I mean, like the first album I ever did was up in like Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Wow.
And that was like a rinky-dink studio where,
There's a big music festival
know-
up there, right? Oshkosh, that festival, isn't it?
yeah, I think there's a music
I
festival
think there's
up
a
there.
big
I
one
mean,
there.
there's a big one in Milwaukee.
That's
where I'm
Summerfest,
from,
right?
but-
Yeah.
Summerfest. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing, honestly, nothing too crazy.
Well, that's
everything
good
kinda,
then. Yeah.
You know, Yeah. Wish I
I,
had some better stories for you, but
No, yeah, I remember when I was like looking around at first, like trying to find somebody to record, and I went to a couple places that were really weird. Like one guy said that you don't get your tracks back, you just get the final copy, and that's it, and he keeps the other ones. And I was like, well, then like, how much of the song do I own? I just own the final copy. That's all I get. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like
That's not totally uncommon.
Yeah. And this guy was a Christian rocker, and I just wasn't sure how our music was going to go over with
That's
him
funny.
once we got into it. So we didn't go with him, and I was just a little.
I had a
sketched out
guy
by it.
tell me that if I didn't record my stuff in 96K, he wasn't going to work with me. and I said,
What?
cool. I'm not working with you then. Fuck you.
Not an issue. Not an issue.
I was like, it's a non-issue. Yeah, dude. So that was actually probably the worst experience I ever had, and that was for my solo album.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, damn.
yeah, that was bad. I was very disappointed in that.
You want to move on to our next segment here?
Yeah,
It's a
we
new
have
one.
another back from the dead.
Yeah.
Okay. So this week it's Kurt Cobain.
Yes.
So let's take a listen to that and then we'll talk about it. Cool.
Because you've achieved so much success, I mean, so quickly, so surprisingly, you've had a baby, you're married. What excites you now?
My baby and my marriage. I don't know. I still like playing too. I mean, Chris and Dave and I haven't changed at all. I mean, believe it or not, we get along just as well as we ever did. You know, we're just as the same passive-aggressive people as we used to be. You know, we never fight. And when we're pissed off at each other, we just hold it under our breath and have respect for one another in that way. You know, it's easier to work that way, you know, because we have a mission, I guess.
So that was Kurt Cobain
Yeah.
being interviewed.
In a little interview clip, that woman was a little like stuttery at first, but
Yeah, I don't know who the interviewer was or what
I don't know either.
the news outlet was. But anyway, what are you taking away from that? What's the main thing?
Biggest thing. My big thing about this is the fact that he says that we're still the same passive aggressive guys we always were, because I really think that the best bands work out when they're passive aggressive, because and only for this reason, because you still respect each other. Like you don't ever call each other out and all their bullshit's laid out on the table, and now that's how you look at this person, right? You always stay respectful, and you always like think of them as, you know, a highly respected person.
I feel good about this clip because that's how I am.
Yeah, well, and
I'm very
I feel like
passive-aggressive.
that's why you probably are a good bandmate, because you literally
Well, I don't know about that, but
you are a good band for sure. You are.
But it's like, I mean, I think it's the first time I've ever heard anyone advocate someone be passive aggressive. So
In certain situations, it's good, and I think he's right on point.
So there's
with that.
two schools of thought, I guess. What he said,
Yeah.
be passive aggressive
Yeah.
and maintain the respect, like you said, and then the other side, people will say, you know, you need to talk about it and get it out and all that good
Everything,
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I like the passive aggressive one.
Yeah, I think it lends itself to helping people feel good about themselves. Like if you constantly are calling people out and just giving them your mind all the time, it might make somebody else feel like they're
It
less
sounds tiring, too.
They're less, yeah, and it is tiring, like to constantly just calling everybody out. Whereas you can, you know, get what you need to get done passive aggressively, and it's a smarter way to work. And
He said we have a mission. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good way to end it too.
What about you, Danny?
yeah, I mean, you know, passive aggressive is one way to go, I suppose. I try not to be, you know, in my mind, being passive aggressive, you're still basically saying what you don't really want to say, so the other person still understands if you're upset with them, or if if you're like, well, I guess that was pretty good for now, I guess we'll move on.
Right,
Like, that's
right.
kind of being passive. To me, that's still going to create a fight
Right.
later on. So, you know, if what he means is not making a big deal out of every little thing, that I agree with. You know, I mean, when I play in bands and I've got different musicians and somebody messes up, you know, I like to take the approach of saying like, oh, something went wrong there. I feel like maybe you were rushing a little bit, but I could have been dragging. I'm not really sure. Let's look at that.
Definitely.
Even if in my mind I know for sure that person was wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah. Always leave room for them to land on it themselves. So that way it's not like you're calling them out, but they'll be like, yeah, I think I rusted a little bit, you know?
And when you approach it that way, they're more likely to be like, yeah, man, that was totally me. Like, you know.
Right, exactly. As opposed to be like, dude, you're rushing, man.
Yeah. Because then that's just attitude.
Like-
That's just attitude. There's too much
Right,
going
yeah,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So if that's kind of what he means by being passive aggressive, then I totally agree.
Yeah, I think it is, because he says we never fight. That was another big point right after that. He said, we never fight. So I think that's where it becomes productive, is that you're not in a fuck you, and then everybody walks out of the room. You don't have that. You know what I mean? You have a understanding that everybody in this room is in this room for a reason, right? And if you really can't stand the person, then maybe the band's over anyways. You know, I was like, I don't know, but lots of stuff like that. But I
envy that they only had 3 of them.
I think so. That's interesting, right? Because there's less egos going on. You know, less people you have to please.
I feel like they all pretty much had low egos anyway.
Right,
you know?
right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's probably a good attitude to have in a band, you know, not to be all about yourself, you know?
Yeah, man. So we talked about something, I guess this was last week off air.
Oh, right? Yeah. Maybe it was off air. I was wondering if we mentioned it on air, but.
So we're going to do something today that we've never done, but cool. I'm super excited for. So cool. let me, it's going to be funny band names.
Yeah.
And let me explain how this idea came into my life. So I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan.
Uh-huh.
And in the first season, and I guess sporadically throughout the second, Chris Pratt's character, Andy Dwyer, anytime someone says anything wacky, he goes, cool band name, I call it.
Yeah.
Because he's in a band or whatever. And so I started saying, you know, cool band name, I call it. And then after a year or so of that, I decided I'm going to start a list of all these cool band names that I've thought of or someone has said, like any weird combination of words. And I have 86 of them.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go through all of them, but I will say this, the LA Maybe came out of that list.
Right.
And West at Sunset, which is my own solo project, came out of that list. And we had a little trio cover band called Outrun the Weekend. That's something my sister said one time that I thought was cool.
Nice.
That came out of that list. So a lot of some of them are funny and interesting, but a lot of cool, usable band names. Came out of this too.
I like the tribute band idea.
Yeah. So on this list, I have a couple of funny tribute bands that I'm always on the lookout for those.
Let's
we'll go through those. But Danny, do you have a couple? Is my understanding as well, right?
I've got one good one.
Okay, let's hear it.
That would be Demon Semen with their debut album, Pulling Out for No One.
I love it, dude. I fucking love that.
At some point, we had a whole track listing and every song.
That's amazing.
I don't know where that went, but
Demon Semen.
I got one too. Me and my roommate came up with a while back. The Weathermen. It'd be really funny. They would all be dressed up like the guys you see on the Weather Channel or whatever, and we had some great song titles. We literally started going down. It was prediction of rain or we had some crazy shit.
My favorite part about that is that how often would you refer to meteorologists in the plural? You would say there's the weatherman.
It was the weather.
You would never say
I'm wrong. It was the weather fucks is what it was. It's because we were pissed off about that. That's what it was, because we were pissed off that they were always wrong. That's where this all started. Okay. So it's the weather fucks, and then it was cool because you didn't have to give a fuck.
So we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, Danny. And down here, in the winter, they'll be we'll have 6 feet of snow. And dude, it's 70 and sunny.
And we'll get a drizzly rain or something for a day or something. It's just so bad. They're so wrong.
They're and I mean, they can't. How can they be perfect? But let me give you a couple here. I'm not going to go through all 86, but I'll skim through. Matt, if you see any that you like, call them out.
Okay, I'll hear.
Let me give you these tribute bands first. All right, so we have Might Be Gay, the LGBT Marvin Gaye tribute.
The Might Be Gay, dude, with Gaye. I love that.
We have Boobies, Dicks, and Ass. That's the nudist Crosby, Stills, and Nash tribute band.
Totally, dude. That's hilarious. Huge at hippie festivals.
We have this one's just hilarious because imagine what this would sound like. Saving Pumpkins.
Yeah.
It's Saving Abel and Smashing Pumpkins mashup tribute band.
That could go so many different ways.
And here's the deal. You don't just play one song from Saving Abel, one song from Smashing Pumpkins.
No.
Every song has to be a medley of 2 of those bands. So yeah, figure that one out.
It's funny because I had Smashing Abel locked and loaded.
Nice.
Ready to go, so
nice.
It's weird
that's funny. Homeless Ghost. High Speed Bullies.
Yeah, dude.
This was a good one.
High Speed Bullies be cool.
Ragdoll Physics.
Yeah, that's cool.
What about this one? That's
Pseudo-Suicide.
Pseudo-Suicide.
That's pretty heavy, man. That's got to be a thrash metal deathcore band.
Teenage Grandparents.
Yeah. Teenage Grandparents.
2 Paws with Claws.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Here's one. Look, dude, that's number 26. I came up with this so long ago. Kilometers Kennedy instead of Miles Kennedy.
I like that.
And then when Todd Kearns, Todd Kearns was on the show, we were talking about this, I think. But when they went to Canada, it said the poster design said / featuring Kilometers Kennedy, and dude, I thought that was so perfect.
Hilarious.
That's amazing.
Sludge Bucket.
Nice.
Karate Ronald.
Dejected Frick.
This is my favorite one. Wizard Green.
Nice.
Like, what kind of funk bass player name is that, dude?
That's a psychedelic marijuana band for sure.
Yeah.
Wizard Green.
Oh, there's some weird ones that are like randomly capitalized in here. 2 Inches from Freedom. That's a good one.
Wait, you gotta explain that one? What
I honestly don't remember a lot of these, dude. There's just too many. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
That
a lot
one
of them.
sounds like you're trying to escape to a country and you're just too.
How about this one, Mr. Mazel Tov?
Mr. Mazel Tov. That's a good one.
Pocket Knife Murder Rampage.
Nice. Legalized Life. That's awesome.
Big Boy Cupid.
Nice.
Some of these are
The Fancy Gentleman's cool.
Wacky, dude.
The Fancy Gentleman has a whole it's
What is-
the Blues Brothers. Modern day.
Trading for a Baby.
Trading for a Baby. What do you got?
Here's another tribute one. The Squirtles. It's a Pokemon-themed Beatles tribute.
Nice. The Squirtle.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
Squirtles are turtles. They're not beetles.
It doesn't matter. It looks
doesn't
like
matter.
It looks like the word Beatles.
It does kind of look like the word Beatles. Yeah.
Benevolent Mob.
Nice. The Brothers McMuffins.
That's from straight up from Workaholics.
Oh, is it? Dude,
Yeah.
that's great.
That's what I think. That's what Adam's character calls the group.
That's
the Brothers
great.
McMuffins, and I just thought that was so funny. I added it. Yeah, I kind of remember like where some of these came from, but yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go,
good.
dude.
That's funny. All right, that was some good ones. That was worth a laugh.
Yeah, cool.
Can you explain Karate Ron?
Karate Ronald. We were playing. I think we were playing the video game Lego Harry Potter, and Ron's character, my girlfriend or one of my roommates or something, was saying like Ron was like kicking ass or something like that, and somebody was like, "Dude, Karate Ronald!" Like somebody said it or something. And I just added it to the list.
Karate Ron.
And Shifty Wizard came from that as well, and
Shifty Wizard.
and Wizard Green also came from that.
Nice.
Because both of those are characters in the game.
Damn.
Dude, you can straight up unlock a character in that game called Boy.
His name's Boy.
Like, how intense are you on unlocking the dude named Boy?
What gender is it?
It's a girl.
Oh, makes sense.
Makes sense.
How
Did
about?
you just assume it's gender? That's
Yeah.
No, Dallas knows. He played that game a lot. He knows.
100%ed it, dude. I'm all about that.
Cool.
Green Bean Boys. A lot of these came from me and Logan.
So you know about Oakley Dokley, right? That's the Ned Flanders death metal band. They're all dressed up as Ned Flanders from The Simpsons.
Yes.
Dude, they're so
Yes,
good. They're
I've
so
heard of
good.
them.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yes. That's amazing.
Yep.
Dude,
That's
a lot of fun. That's
Oakley
a lot of fun
Dokley.
stuff. So Danny, we're doing this is let's talk about how we met Danny. We're doing the unsigned artist feature, and we have people from all over. We've had a bunch actually submit music to us to play on the show, and a lot of people at first thought we were charging for it.
Yeah.
It's not what
that
we're
at
doing.
all.
We're
Not
just
that at all. We're trying to
just-
highlight good music
yeah.
that we find, and Danny's music came in and is exceptional.
Yeah, so as you might imagine, and I told you this, Danny, we get a lot of not so good stuff.
Sure.
We get a lot of good stuff, but we get a lot of not so good stuff, and we get a lot of stuff that's like cringeworthy.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we'll talk more about it off air, but we get some bad stuff. So Danny's stuff comes across my desk metaphorically.
Yeah.
And everything's metaphorically, dude. I guess it came across my desk literally. But being a producer myself, I hit play, and I mean within the first couple seconds, I was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, this guy's in for sure." And then and a lot. What are we listening for when we listen for that stuff? I'm listening personally. I'll talk first, and then you go because I don't know what you're listening for, and sometimes it's different.
It is.
Than what I'm
It's
listening
always
for. But
different
I'm
almost.
listening for. I kind of take my opinions out of it. I'm not listening for like, do I like this? I'm listening for like, is this really like pretty high quality?
Yeah.
Like, can I tell somebody like spend some money or spend some time on this? Is the quality there, like songwriting, like even if it's not my favorite, is it good? You know what I mean? Like you can tell that objectively.
Sure.
And then probably third down the line, I'll be like, do I like it? Danny's checks all the boxes. I love that song.
Yes.
But what about you, Matt?
Well, first of all, I like to decipher like what kind of music it is. Like first thing I'd try to do is like, all right, what is this in? And then I just make kind of predictions of where it's going to go. And then like, and this is all subconsciously almost like I'm not like sitting there trying to map it out, like what's going to happen next. But I always have what's in my mind and then what happens. So I like when things surprise me, like when things change up.
Yeah.
And then I also listen for like quality, obviously, and that stuff. And good guitar solo definitely stands out, which this song has.
Honestly, probably the biggest thing for me is production quality. Like
Yeah.
if I hear something that I'm not the biggest fan of, but it sounds amazing,
Yeah.
like it's in, dude.
Yeah, I
Like,
love
I'm
that.
happy to put it on the show because
because
I
it's
feel
a
like
clear
it's
representation
exactly.
of what you're going for, and that's always good.
Yeah.
To hear.
And I like hearing people that have put time in it, which means they have passion. You know, they're putting like effort into it. It's not just like I'm gonna be the next
not a one take wonder. I
Yeah.
recorded it on my iPhone and it was magic.
Yeah.
You gotta check this out.
Yeah.
This track is sick.
So needless to say, we got into this track, and the track is "Fight with You." Danny, talk a little bit about this track, man, because I've listened to it probably 30 times. 30,
Oh, wow.
30. And
Wow.
yeah, I love it. I mean, so when I listen to music, first thing I'm hearing is production and music, and the last thing I hear are the lyrics. So if you know me, you know I barely register lyrics ever. Like a lot of my favorite songs, I still don't know the lyrics to. And
You know what's funny? I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Like lyrics came last for me as a songwriter because
Yeah.
same thing. Like some of my most favorite songs, I'll try to sing along to, and I just butcher it.
yeah,
I should learn these
or
words.
you realize like,
I
oh
love
crap, I've been singing that wrong for 10 years.
Right.
it. Yeah, exactly.
But I did pay attention to the lyrics in yours after probably the third or fourth listen, and they're pretty powerful. And not what so the first couple listens through, I had the lyrics kind of in the back of my head, and I had one idea of what they were about just based on how the music sounded. And they ended up not being about that at all. So I was way off, and I love that. I love that I was like, oh, okay,
Lots
this
of
is totally different
interpretation.
than what I was feeling it was
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the song.
I'm curious, what did you, before you knew what they were about, what did you?
I thought it was like a breakup song, just based on
Okay, sure.
the title and listening to the music. And because like I said, when I'm listening to it, I'm registering the melody, but I am not hearing the words, and I cannot even explain to you how that works scientifically. But I kind of pick out, like a couple like phrases here and there, and I'll kind of piece together like, okay, this is what I think it's about. But then as I actually listened to the lyrics, I was way wrong, and I was happy to learn that I was, because it's really good stuff.
I've been paying attention more to lyrics, like in a first time listen kind of thing too, like trying to really interpret what the song's about. So
Yeah.
I don't know. This is something I've gotten better at though. Like definitely was just a music
Yeah, I
listener
don't think
at
I'll ever
first.
get better at that.
You got to work at it. I believe in you. All right. So go ahead and tell us about it.
So I wrote this song. I had a really good friend that got diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago, and it was a rare form. It was a sarcoma, which is a really rare form that's really under researched.
Mhm.
And it just he had it for about 2 years, and he passed away last year.
Wow.
And he just, it was just a very slow, painful, shitty 2 years, and it just never got better. And it's one of those situations where I found myself going to see him and visit him, and just like I have no idea what to say. Like, what do you say that's going to make someone feel better in that situation? Like, oh, like you can't make somebody really feel better.
No,
Like, they're in pain, they feel like shit, and they're dying.
Yeah.
And like everybody knows it. So like, what do you say? And so that feeling of like, I hate feeling this helpless. Like there's nothing I can do. I can't really distract him a whole lot. I can't take his pain away. I can't brighten his day. Like, fuck that. Just like, I wish there was anything I could do, and there's just not. And so that's basically what that song is about. It's kind of just going through that.
Yeah, that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to deal with. I mean, it's inconceivable to know how he's feeling, and
Right.
and to help him also is very very helpless feeling. I get that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. And as I paid more attention to the lyrics, I understood the illness aspect of it.
Right.
I did not know
Sure.
it was a man. So that's good songwriting, because you allow the listener to draw their own conclusions and
Right.
put it into their life in the way that they want to.
Right. Right.
Instead
Sure.
of
Yeah.
being so specific that it makes it, about this one thing, you made it just general enough to where it can apply to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, we definitely appreciate that. Killer guitar solo.
Yeah. Really awesome. Stand out.
Thank you.
guitar
Really,
solo.
really good production. I'm assuming you played everything.
Yeah.
Very
Are they?
cool.
I have to know this just because I'm a drum nerd. Are they live drums or program drums?
No, that's Superior Drummer 2.0.
Nice.
There you go.
Well, I mean, some of them, I think in some, like in the first verse, it's just straight up just electronic stuff.
Mhm.
going on.
Yeah, the drums sound good.
Yeah, thanks, man.
They just came out with Superior Drummer 3, and I hear that's actually supposed to be killer. But yeah, I
saw
still
that.
have two.
I keep getting
I
better.
still got two as well. Yep.
Dude, I have just about every drum thing on the market. I got Steven Slate. I got Get Good drums. I got Superior Drummer 2. I got
Yep.
Easy
I got
Drummer.
Get Good.
I got Get Good's good.
Yeah.
Do you have this? It's a real like underground software. At least I think it still is. Perfect Drums.
No, never heard of
You
that.
got to check them out, dude.
Perfect.
They are very good.
They sound perfect.
Okay.
They're the most like easily usable like metal drums, I would say.
Okay.
Like for that big like modern metal sound.
Right.
And it's so crazy because you just load up like the default kits, like a Sonar kit, and it's just like you hit the snare and you're like, yep, done.
I'm
there
done,
it is.
yeah.
Like
No need to tweak.
Yeah.
That's
it's
cool.
crazy. And they're actually the drums that are in our theme song.
Oh, cool.
So if you listen to the theme song, that's perfect drums.
Cool.
Nice.
So yeah, we're winding down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that song that Danny was just talking about, Fight With You.
Yep.
We're going to put that entire song on the end of this episode.
Yeah. Just as our featured unsigned artist.
Yep.
And we're still pushing for more to submit. We want high quality tunes like this. If you got something in this vein or in this, quality level, let us know. We'd love
All you
to
got
play
to
it. We'd
do
love
is
to-
go to musicianstalkshow.com. You can do /apply and go straight to it, or you can just go to the homepage. There's an apply thing right at the top.
Yep.
You click that and fill out the form. And then we'll be in touch.
Yep.
Yeah, we do listen to everything.
Yeah, we do.
That's for sure. And we probably more than most people, we really listen to everything.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
thinking about
let's
stopping,
dig into
actually.
it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about stopping and starting to be a little more. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm gonna listen to it all.
Thinking about
Listen
just
to
judging. I'm thinking about just judging based on artist name.
Yeah, the
at this
cover.
point.
Yeah, if they got a good
The
album cover.
Yeah. Man, I've actually been pleasantly surprised at the good stuff we've gotten.
Definitely.
Cool. So here it is, Fight With You by Dave.